broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yeah.
This goes out for DM and CT. R.I.P. DM.
Why are you trying to make me cry?
No, because it's
Because she was crying the whole episode. What up, AfterBuzz? It's your boy DJ Jesse Janedy here in Studio 4, MTV's The Challenge. I was going to say Skeleton. Battle of the Exes II. I'm joined in studio by Nicolette Sensei Don't Play Gaona.
Hey.
And my lovely co-host Roxy Striar.
Hello.
All right, we're starting off real somber. Obviously, because the beginning of the episode, as we saw at the end of the last episode, DM got sick. And this was kind of the start of everything that went on with DM.
I have to say that for what it's worth, I love the way that CT handled the situation. I thought that he had matured a lot, and we've seen him in past seasons not really care as much about her feelings, and I felt like this was a really big growing experience for him.
Yeah,
For sure.
It was definitely emotional for me to watch it. I mean, I'm sure it is emotional for all the fans out there who really are like a CT and DM, like true fans. Like, it was very hard. You could just see how much he really cared about her, you know, and how much they really depended on each other. You know, at the end of the day, they might fight, they might bitter, but they loved each other.
I thought that Leroy said it really well, you know, like, as competitors in the challenge, all you ever want is to get CT off this game. That's what everybody's gunning for, but never like this. Like, and we always talk to all these kids, and they say how they're a family and whatnot, but you really saw that in tonight's episode, whether it was the making of the get well present or just them forgetting about game talk for a little bit. They're real people. So that's why it is a competition show, but it's also still reality TV. This is like what is actually going on. So I liked seeing that. I didn't like what happened, but I liked seeing how everybody
came together.
Yeah, exactly.
And just DM, I mean, everyone always talks so highly of DM.
Yeah.
There's not one negative thing to say about her.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
of
she's
course.
just bubbly, the sweetest thing ever. I mean, we luckily had a chance to talk to her when she called in for one of the challenges that we had, and it was
you know,
a pleasure.
It's interesting because I think back to that a lot, and I think previously because I haven't, you guys all know this, I didn't watch all of the challenges. I started maybe 4 years ago watching the challenges, but they've been going on since '98, and so I was little at the time. But now that I have been watching, I remember thinking like, everybody's obsessed with DM. Why is everybody so obsessed with DM? And then I started watching. It's like you can't not fall in love with her. And when she called in, I was like, all right, I'm just sold. I'm sold. Like she's just so awesome. So I thought they did a really great job with the episode. I thought it was very respectful, and I think that it was really interesting to watch how everybody really stopped playing the game.
I think it was just so sad because of like the outcome that actually happened, and like seeing them in the fear of it, and like knowing now, I just think it was just so much harder. Like, I just can't imagine going through those feelings that he was going through.
I have a weird question, but what do you guys think if it hadn't been DM that was having these stomach aches, and if it had been somebody else? Cause,
Like Teresa?
Yeah, if it had been Teresa, do you think people would have been like, "Oh, this girl"? She's
No, I think it's, especially with the challenge, I think it's just a different type of, they've been doing this for so long, and at the end of the day, we all get in our little beefs and whatnot, but whether it's Teresa or something, I think it comes down to the point of, this is our family. Like,
And if it comes down to health, like...
No, I know, but a stomach ache, like if one of my friends tells me I have a stomach ache, I don't think like that, but obviously because DM's history, because of this would have been her third time having cancer, I feel like everybody's brain jumps there. But if it had been somebody else, I feel like people would have been like, oh, they have a stomach ache, and I don't think they would have taken it as seriously. I don't think the producers would have been as willing to bring them to the hospital. Like,
well, I mean, if it got to the point where she couldn't come back into the game, then I think people would definitely worry. Like,
right.
Hopefully she's okay. I mean, if it was a stomachache, you definitely would be able to come back into the game.
it was strange that she went to the hospital and they sent her back as if she was fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was a really weird. And then the producers were like, all right, we're going to take her and make sure she gets the care she needs. Which,
Definitely.
it's like, where did they take her in the first place? That place needs to be.
I don't know, but thankfully, they sent her home, and CT went, because I'm like, sometimes I'd be worrying with MTV that they be wanting to push it a little more, like, y'all shouldn't have made her eat the peanut butter, you know what I mean? Like, she shouldn't be doing almost the same type of things as everybody else if you know she has a stricter diet.
But her whole point is that she does want to be, so it's so hard. It's I know it's a little different, but it's like Jordan with his hand, or DM, like everybody has their thing.
Yeah, and I was definitely feeling for him when he wanted to go see her, but because he was drinking alcohol, he couldn't go.
So what was the deal with that? So the producers were like, you can't go to the hospital because you've been drinking.
I mean, I could understand that, because think about it, you bring CT, he's emotional right now, he has liquor in his system, you get him to the hospital and he's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's people doing surgeries. There's the ER,
and
then
when she like
CT's
called
bugging out.
him or the producers called her, and she was just like, "I'm fine," like,
yeah.
And he was just so happy to just hear her voice. Like, oh, that had me like really. I was tearing up, y'all.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like a lot of times some people always want to exaggerate the situation, and they're like, "Oh, I'm really sick." She's always trying to under-exaggerate it and be like, "No, I'm fine. I'm fine." You could see when she got out of the bus the first time off the out of the hospital. Her face was like in agony. Her hair, she was like dripping in sweat. So you could tell something was up.
And we have a chat roll question.
We have several, actually.
Okay.
A lot of them are asking, do you guys think that the producers handled the situation well? And also from Tyler, the footage of DM being airlifted and onto the plane and then getting off the plane in New York, was that really necessary?
So wait, just for people who are confused on what the chat roll is, so everybody knows, we are here at 11 o'clock on Tuesdays Pacific time. We now go live, so you guys can go to YouTube and you can actually chat with us. And either we'll be looking at it, or Alexis or whoever's engineering will look at it, so you guys can be more involved in the conversation if you're watching live.
Personally, I feel like it was necessary just for fans and like people who just wonder about her, the fact that she made it safely back to New York, you know, and like the way they were handling it with care, you know, and just the fact that we kind of have reassurance or other questions that we have to ask. I mean, it's kind of there, you know, they flew her to where she needed to go to get treated. So I feel like, you know, obviously didn't have to take it that far, but I feel like it was kind of like a satisfaction for everyone to like know that she was okay and then she was brought there.
Was part of it covering their own butts, showing, because they clearly, I feel like people thought that maybe they didn't handle the situation well.
After the fact.
Yeah, like they didn't just leave her hanging out to dry. Like they took her where she needed. The producers actually took her back to the hospital. They made sure she got home. Like I feel like a little bit was like, hey, because they get a bad rap sometimes.
I mean, but the reality is you go, you sign up, and we read the contracts.
The first line of all of their contracts is, if you die, it is not our it's not our fault. So it's like, yeah, it's true, and they are signing up for it.
That's
and I feel like
crazy.
DM of all people, I mean, she was very aware of the situation. She knew. So I don't know. I didn't have a problem with it. Did you have a problem with the fact?
I didn't have a problem with it because okay, so with the whole bring her to the hospital, I was like, I was glad that they do that, because usually they try to like hold out a little bit, and after hearing,
They did take.
you know what I mean, what the experience was like and how far the hospital was and whatnot, you know, I think that they did it. It was smart. She probably should have stayed overnight. That was random, but maybe it was a her and CT thing of deciding that. But the footage.
Closure.
I mean, for me personally, like I said, and it's not to come off insensitive or whatnot, but seeing that in that footage, it just takes me to a whole nother type of TV show, and now that's where I was watching the TV show. Luckily, the episode was amazing, and it brought my energy back up.
It is hard to bounce back. I agree, because how do we go from knowing that DM is gone? It's not as if this happened and then we know DM's still around today, so we're like, oh, well, she went home, but then she got treated. You know, because we know what we know, it was very hard to pull myself out of that world. I think that's kind of the point, though. I think they want us to show. And
it was like a closure type
I mean,
thing.
even now, like after we went and interviewed some of the cast, and I sat with Jemmy. And after that conversation, watching Night Tonight really was affecting me because it was just like all these little, jabs he makes at her. I'm just sitting there thinking about like, what is she sitting at home like going through? And I know it sounds insensitive, but I just those feelings with this show, like for me, like personally, like I don't want to have them with this show because I don't know, it's weird. It's like different. It's like the real world.
It's also interesting the way that they're painting.
It's a personal opinion, y'all. Like I'm not saying anything.
No,
I'm
of
not
course.
shading nobody.
Well, it's a television show for you. You're also kind of involved in the world, but it's also a television show. So sometimes you just want it to be a television show. I almost look at these shows sometimes as scripted. And I'm like, oh, it's a character.
You have to be reminded.
But you have to be reminded, like, oh my gosh,
This is real people.
Right?
Like, they're out putting themselves on the line with these freaking, things that they have to do. These crazy ass challenges, like some real shit there.
I think it's interesting.
Can't get realer.
What's interesting is the way that they're portraying DM versus the way that they're portraying Night, and I feel like they're really trying to be true to who their characters on these show were. Like, it's not like they're shying away from the fact that Night kind of is bullied Jemmy a little bit, And I'm glad that they're still showing that, and they didn't think to not show it because maybe some people would think it's insensitive, but that's who he was. It was like all in good fun.
And the good thing, like when we interviewed Jemmy, it was like, because on my light, I was like, Night just always came off like kind of like an asshole and stuff. And she's like, you know what? Like, that's how we always talked. Like, it was nothing new. And it was never like we really meant to say these things to each other. At the end of the day, we knew that we'd be there for each other.
But it's
you know
just,
what I mean?
It's so East Coast to me. Because, in Boston, you'd be like, what up, douchebag?
Yeah.
What up, dickhead? Like, you just do that.
Like,
because then this bitch gets sensitive when I be calling her names. I'm like...
Yeah, and that's the way he phrases all the time, like, oh, you actually didn't suck tonight. Like, that means good job.
Right. And I feel like that's Jemmy and Knight's relationship. But let's talk about some of these challenges tonight, because they threw some curveballs.
They sure did.
Shocked with a lot of this. Like, what?
First challenge, on again, off again. So they're on these zip lines that are like these spinning zip lines.
I can imagine
I would love
hard.
to do that.
I would love
I think
to
that'd
do
be
it
fun.
too.
Except when I saw Teresa, that things like that bother me. Like, I don't like to ice skating and roller skating. Like, those things bother me because like there are blades involved. You just one quick little fall. Teresa just one wrong little grab and her arm could have been broken.
Yeah.
Oh, hell to the no.
But or she could have been like stuck up there. That is scary. But like I always say, I love competitions that everybody at least can finish.
But how did it get stuck? I'm confused.
Because they're being
The
twirled
ropes.
around, so the rope like pulled up her. And if you've ever pulled a rope like that,
Tight on you? Yeah, I'm surprised.
like it
and
didn't
she's
wanna
being
let go.
flung around, like think of your wrist.
Who knows how close it actually was, but that fear when you're up there, I totally understand that.
Freaking hyperventilating. I would have probably passed out.
But it's cool because it involves a couple things. It involves strength. It involves swimming. It involves, there's multiple different parts. So I like this.
Stamina. You drop in, then you like, okay. After you just spin. Remember when they would do like,
They're
what was
the
it?
one like, where's the boa thing? Like
That game where you close your eyes and you get spun
Dizzy
around.
bat.
Yeah. But imagine doing that 50 feet in the air, and then you have to swim around a buoy to come back to the beach.
Well, I think I just said a drinking game. Isn't that when you drink the beer out of the bat and then you spin in the bat and you go forward or something?
Yep.
Whatever it is, there's nothing more disorienting than spinning in circles. Like, and they're doing
And
that
especially when you
tenfold.
aren't in control. At least like at the pinata, you'd be like,
I know.
this
I
is
know.
like Gravitron, like times 50.
When I watched the previews last week, I was like, I could totally rock that. Not one of them made it that far. Like, some of them made it further than others, but none
you
of
have
them
to be really
made it.
strong.
I don't even know if it's a strength as much as it's like a getting a good grip and a finesse kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh no, I would like to try it. I'm not gonna lie. So Bananas and Nani pick the order, and we get Jay and Jenna versus John and Simone first. Simone was the first person to fall. Jenna got around the buoy
Y'all was
first.
going flying.
Yo.
Everybody was going flying.
What's the deal? John, this is literally, you could pinpoint why you guys lost. Help. Get back in there
And help her.
That's what. Have you
He
never
was
watched
like,
a single one of
Or
these?
at least cheer, you know what I mean?
Sure,
Something.
anything. He wasn't even that tired. You look at his face, he rolls his eyes, he's like, whatever.
He's like, well, we lost.
Yeah, like, get in there. What are you thinking? And they, honestly, if he had helped her, I think they could have not come in last.
Yeah.
Well, and
agree.
I think that's probably where it comes in the chemistry or like their relationship. They probably really didn't hang out much before this show, only on their show that they were previously on. So it's like they really don't have that relationship where they're just like,
They
come
don't give a
on,
fuck.
Simone, let's
But they
go,
should for money,
you know?
though.
They should, but their just mentality isn't there because they're not really that
to me, it
close.
seems like Simone's mentality is
Yeah.
there. I feel like she's like
Oh, she wants
that
to get.
partner.
I'm just saying, like, he probably doesn't feel that way towards her because he probably just
For
has
me, it
no
wasn't.
feelings or something.
For me, it wasn't chemistry, it was experience. No matter who you pair Bananas with, even if it was somebody he hated, there's no way he's not going to go in there and help them out. Because that's
Even Johnny.
experience.
I mean, we see Johnny and Avery.
Because Johnny's done this
Right,
before.
exactly.
I just feel
rookies
John
for
was
ya.
probably like, I don't even know if I'm allowed to go back in there. Or was like,
Yeah.
I don't even know if this matters. Like, who cares?
Right.
Well, I'll tell you who cares, you.
But they both completed it. So then we got Brittany and Adam and Wes and Teresa. And that's where Teresa's hand got caught in the rope. That was just too scary.
Yeah. And
Brittany
you could hear
fell
her
instantly.
screaming. You could hear her
Yeah.
screaming from up there. My hand. I was like,
If Brittany wasn't a good
Creepy.
swimmer, definitely she could have.
They could have taken that.
no, Adam said that Brittany was a really strong swimmer.
I'm saying if she wasn't, then
Oh, if she wasn't.
you know, maybe Simone and John maybe would have had a chance if she wasn't that good at swimmer.
Oh,
but
later.
clearly.
Got it.
So then we get Jemmy Knight, Zach, and Janae. Jemmy fell instantly, and they.
I don't understand the Zach ripping on Janae for everything. She's actually a pretty good competitor.
Yeah.
Why is he so down on? He's like,
Zach's
I
ass.
do believe in you, and she's like, I don't feel like you believe in me. He's like, well, that's the problem right there. Like, instead of doing that, just maybe be more supportive.
Right.
He's an asshole.
Yeah.
We have chat roll question.
If they were to do another challenge, do you guys think that they would invite back CT, or do you guys think he would be accepted?
Yeah.
It completely depends on what the thing is, but I think MTV is obsessed with CT.
Oh, for
and
sure.
so as long as it wasn't a Battle of the Exes, because I don't think he would ever be asked on a Battle of the Exes.
I think it comes down to, is CT willing to do another challenge? You know, I think he's gonna have to, you know, kind of take some time out.
I don't think so.
Well, you know,
I mean, I know DM wouldn't want him to and everything, but I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like that's emotional, not having that one person there who's there all the time. Like,
yeah.
But this is
You know?
also the one thing that this is where he met her. This is his memory with her.
That's
This
true.
is,
Also,
and this
this
is
is his
CT's life.
livelihood. Yeah, like,
this is what he does.
I feel like definitely if it's a rivals or if it's individuals or whatever it is, I definitely think I know he'll be asked and I think he'll accept.
Yeah, I just don't see them asking him for something like this again, because that would be just so who would they put him with? Which they could find somebody,
absolutely.
But all of
but
us
that would be
like,
disrespectful.
no.
Yeah,
I
like it's
completely
just you
agree.
messed up. Sorry, you can't come back on the X's.
Right.
So then we get Leroy, Nia, Nani, and Bananas. Leroy, Nia.
You know,
They tried.
This is the weirdest thing.
Leroy
and
with the doggy paddle.
I forgot to ask Leroy about this because he says he's been like really training swimming, watching instructional videos. I feel like swimming's one of those things that you just gotta get in the water. Like
I don't know,
you can't learn to
swimming-
swim online. I don't feel like you can.
I feel like you just have to like to swim, and I hate to swim, so I don't swim. I'll do the dog paddle too with you.
But if you were
okay?
trying to learn, I feel like you would be in the water. But what is looking at a YouTube video going to help? I mean, I guess there's form, but it just
I
to
mean,
me,
sure, you can go on YouTube and you can find a lot of videos that make you learn how to do a bunch of things.
Yeah, but swimming
Swimming
is
is
kind of
like-
different.
unless they
Because
really
swimming,
break it
it's different
down.
gravity. It's just a whole bunch
Yeah.
of
he
different
did
things.
better though. Actually, Nia was slower than Leroy was, but they did better than I thought they would.
Who did really good was Sarah and Jordan and Avery and Johnny.
Right.
Both couples, great teamwork.
Can we talk about this for a second? And I'm sorry because I know he doesn't like to be distinguished based on this, but the fact that Jordan has one hand and was able to hold on, of the four of them, he held on the longest. Are you kidding me?
He's a G.
That's outrageous. With one hand. Like, that's unbelievable. And him and Sarah, they have such great teamwork, and they're just supportive of each other. And maybe because they're not actually exes, so they're just kind of buddies. But that was so cool. I thought that was awesome. And like, good for him.
And again, like meeting them, they gave me off a vibe like they are the type of people who will not give up. Like they seemed like such a good, solid team. And it's crazy that he really pulls through with these challenges and does amazing. And I think it's just his attitude towards things. It's like he really will never give up, and he does not give a fuck. Nothing is stopping him.
Nothing.
Like he gives that off. He's like,
I have to say,
what you want me to do? I can do anything.
this is an early prediction, but based on the vibe they're giving and their interviews and everything, I think they go really far.
Oh.
I'm thinking they're going really far.
Yeah, some woman online was like, "Oh, you guys must not be reading the gossip. I don't want to know who wins."
Usually, neither. I don't
usually
know.
the cast tells us. I don't know. I shouldn't say all that, but
Yeah.
usually we know certain things in advance.
Not even on purpose. Sometimes just things
it
get
just
out.
happens. But like with this, I don't really know who's gonna win. I'm glad that it's like that.
Jordan was keeping real cocky at those interviews, like,
No.
yeah, Johnny Bananas.
And
like,
now they say that both of them, I noticed that because I was thinking that about Sarah. Looking at Sarah, I was like, oh, she looked a little like
they're
she
looking
came
real
up.
happy
Like they
about
came
these
up.
interviews.
Yeah.
Jordan had his little wax mustache, and I was like, all right, getting
They're
that
looking
model
real
on.
cute, right?
guys are
Like,
wondering what we're
getting
talking
married
about.
finally.
If you wonder what we're talking about, we as you said, we went and we interviewed a lot of the cast, and those interviews will be up tomorrow, so you can check them out. We interviewed them as couples, and honestly, we didn't really have issues. They were all pretty cool.
Everyone was cool. The Jay and Jenna situation is a really funny interview.
Yeah, or how
Sorry.
about the fact that I had to physically sit between Avery and Johnny?
Oh yeah, that one was
Yeah,
a great
everybody
one.
else sat next to each other. They couldn't do that. So stay
We got
tuned.
some very interesting
We got
ones, so
some
make sure you
tea.
guys check them out on AfterBuzzTV.com tomorrow. All right. Moving on from that, the slowest time it was between Leroy Naya and Simone and John. Sorry, y'all.
There was just no reason that they should come in last. I just really feel like John dropped the ball there.
Maybe might have dropped it a couple times.
But she said she dropped it, and I felt like it was more on him. That was a weakness of hers. He knew it, and he just like hung her out to dry.
He really left her.
Yeah.
Women, like,
He
girl.
literally did that. What you just did with your hand, he did that when he walked off. He was like,
Twice tonight. He at those last seconds, and that shows you the difference between someone who's whack and someone who is a winner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those last few seconds can make a difference in time. You could have beaten Leroy with 3 seconds, but in the time you took to flip your wrist.
Exactly.
The winning team goes to Jordan and Sarah. They won by 3 seconds. They beat Teresa and Wes, which, shout out to Teresa that you had that situation and you came in second place.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Teresa and Wes, they came in second place for both the competitions. They didn't win. They've come in second place. They're definitely proven to be front runners, which is interesting because I don't think of either of them as the fiercest competitor, but I guess I should.
So then we get...
Wes has won the most amount of competitions of anybody.
Yep. I love that we know all these trivia facts.
Trivia!
So Jordan and Sarah winning, they get their pizza, and they get to talk to
That gourmet pizza.
some of the... This one looked actually better
Pretty
than the
good,
last one.
They better step up their pepperoni game. They're like, okay, some barbecue chicken. Just dreaming now.
Jordan wants to have bananas in the final because he's a competitor.
Here's the deal, though. Here's what I actually like about Jordan and Sarah. I feel like a lot of the other couples are thinking like, okay, next week, what are we going to do this week to get us through to the next week? They are so smart, I feel like, and they're planning so far ahead.
I mean, they had like papers.
Right, they were like,
Yeah.
we ain't going nowhere. So what's really
Doing
good,
mathematic
bananas? What's really
equations.
good, Wes? Like,
that
where
was-
am I on your list? Because we ain't going nowhere. Do you want to know our list? You need to be on the top of it because we're going to keep on winning.
See,
so
I
what's
think that's
good?
great, but the one thing that could get in their way, again, is Jordan's ego. I mean, if you forgot, I kind of forgot about the bananas Jordan issue.
I did too.
And then I was like, oh, yeah. Remember when Jordan was an idiot and threw himself in against bananas and lost?
Yeah.
Like, wah, wah, what a major low.
Well, it is a good thing that he has Sarah on his team because I feel like a lot of people want Sarah to win a challenge.
Like,
you know?
like how Banana said, he was like, it's total opposites. I can't stand Jordan. I love Sarah. And
like,
just
who
based
doesn't
off,
love Sarah?
no, and right, and based off her person, I'm just like, I love Sarah.
Yeah.
Please just give her a win, y'all.
Right? Can she please win?
She just deserves it. Come on.
I think this is really cool, though, of Sarah and Jordan playing this card because, like she said, the guys are always the one to start this. So the fact that Sarah is like, you know what, I'm going to play the game differently because no one expects it from Sarah.
This is the first time I think we saw, though, the power couple talk to two couples, neither of the couple being the one that they throw in, which was really interesting. And they called Wes over. By the way, it was weird that just Wes came over. Did anybody else think that was kind of strange?
I was assuming that Teresa was probably hurt or just
like doing something?
because of her hand.
Yeah, well, anyway, they are doing it like as a strategy, which we don't see people do. I mean, apparently, from what we hear, they have to, and obviously it's reality TV, so they make these guys do those sit downs with people. So if you're gonna make somebody do that, they might as well use it to their advantage. I thought that was cool.
Right.
Smart.
And so it seems like they're gonna work with Wes, and then just keep bananas in the back pocket, and then eventually.
Yeah, but maybe they could switch.
It could switch. I mean, you never know with this game. Sarah. So then we get. What was Brittany and Adam? Oh, okay. We get to deliberations. What were you gonna say?
Well, also I was going to say, I don't think this was on. I know that they said this on camera, but I don't think we caught it on our cameras. When Jordan and Sarah were talking about how there's a bunch of secret alliances that we don't know are going on right now. So they said there's secret alliances that we haven't seen yet. I'm wondering if that's with Wes. That's the one that we're talking about. I wonder who else is in that alliance. There's a lot of questions
That is so true.
going through my brain.
And they said MTV has not aired any of the alliances, so none of us know who they are.
Right.
Ooh, I forgot about that one. Good.
Yeah.
All right, so
You can tell on my face. You always know I make the is she about to fart face or what's going on? But it's just my thinking face.
that was your drop some tea face.
Yeah. Ooh, I gotta get a better face.
Britt and Adam versus Simone and John are gonna go into the dome.
Did you guys have any question about going into this? Who was gonna win?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I mean, just
I
depending
assumed Britt and John and Adam were probably going to win.
I mean,
Only because their communication is way better than John and Simone.
but when this twist came, I was like, they actually have a chance to send Brittany and him home.
Same. This was the best chance they possibly could have because it wasn't like
For
a strength,
Simone and John,
it wasn't
for
a
sure.
communication, nothing. This wasn't I
was
pull
just
this
a
way, you pull
guessing
that
game.
way, or you tie this rope and I tie that rope, or let's get to the top of this. Let's use our strength. It wasn't any of that. It was an eating thing. It's anybody's game.
And it could kind of be frustrating, honestly. I don't know, it's frustrating that they had to have a thing like that, but then again, it could have been on their luck side. I guess it just...
No, it was just laziness on... It was a bad plan. So they get there and there's a dinner table and they say, someone's going to replace CT. Nobody ends up replacing
Did you guys
CT.
think who did you think was going to come out then?
I didn't think anyone was going to come replace it.
That would have been whack.
I thought what they were going to do, I thought they were going to let both of them stay and then they were going to be like, all right, everyone can eat, or, for DM and CT or something like that, I thought.
I would have been so annoyed.
We have a chat roll question?
Yes, from Joseph Boza. My question for the panel would be that do they thought that the producers should have not sent a team home because of what happened to DM? Also, would they have really send in a new team?
I don't think they really would have sent in a new team because we're late in the game. They've done it this late in the game, but after that,
It just didn't make sense.
And then, what was the first part of it?
And then, do we think...
They should have kept both of the players.
Oh, I think they definitely should have thrown somebody home because we know that another team is coming back, and this show always now likes to split the challenge into two parts, the final challenge in two parts, so it's
we don't need all those episodes.
They would have only been doing it for an episode, and we would have read through the bullshit.
And with this whole exile thing, it's
right.
We can watch it
And no
online.
one else knows about the exiles, so it's kind of
Yeah.
It's the same situation. It's now you guys think you're going home.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So they get to
Good
the dinner
question.
table. It's called He Said, She Said. And basically you have to guess
That's crazy.
how many things your partner can eat.
I am so pissed that I didn't get to watch this episode with you guys because honestly, the entire time, for lack of better words, I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, I was so irritated
what
watching
the
this.
fuck?
It's brownies,
I could eat a lot of brownies.
So let's talk about the strategy here.
I wish someone told me to eat those
Yo,
brownies.
we have to text Simone and Brittany about this and get the actual situation because.
Well, Brittany will be in next week.
Yeah, great. So we're gonna have to pick our brain because are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? There's. On my free will, I would have eaten 15 of each one of these things. I get that they were dry, but what?
Well, so the strategy was, to under bet. Because, if
Four,
figuring
three.
that, the first one was really crazy. It was brownies, and the first thing she said was 3. 3 brownies. I eat 3 brownies in
I'm sorry.
Which I will fuck up a case of Oreos.
This is where the
Fuck up a whole
experience
thing of
comes out.
brownies.
Okay.
This is when experience comes in, though, because I kind of did feel bad for them because the
Yeah.
vets are blatantly laughing at them. The vets are blatantly making fun of them.
That is rude.
You know, they understand the rules of these things quicker because they've been around these for so long. Like, poor Simone.
I know.
Who yells out
That's
3.
something I would have said,
Who
though,
yells out
too,
3 because
like-
she's obviously on purpose trying to underbet so that it just goes to Brittany's person, and everybody just starts laughing.
But I mean, no, come on, that's not smart, Simone. Like,
No,
you're
it's
sitting here
not.
talking about 3 brownies. That's not using your brain to say. Well,
she was probably
you know
nervous.
What? He probably can definitely eat 4 brownies.
She was probably nervous.
I'm not saying that
Do you
because
think he could have ate 20? Do you think someone could have
He
ate
couldn't
20?
even eat 7.
No, he ate 7.
Oh, he did eat
But
7.
really slow. He, like, only had 30 seconds left.
Do you
I
think
told-
you would
Not
do
in 3
20?
minutes.
No, even TJ was like, the number should have been
Do I think I could
27.
eat 20 in 3 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
A brownie?
I think I
yeah.
could have.
I'm not just being full of myself. Yes. These
Especially
were
with that
mini
milk.
brownies.
Oh, honey, that would have went down.
I think every single vet in
Been
there,
had one soaking in my milk while I was eating.
Right, drink it on up.
every single vet in there could have housed 20 brownies. No question asked. Every single one. And they were literally like breaking it off, sticking their pinkies out, and like having it with their tea.
Dude.
I couldn't.
The
even
brownie
deal.
was ridiculous, Adam. It was just like, it's a fucking brownie.
I kept looking around.
Scoff that shit.
He was looking up as if it was like testicles. I kept looking around. Nobody was in the room with me. I was like, is anybody seeing this? Like, is anybody seeing
Now,
this?
let's go. Let's just say, I'm sure they were not the most amazing
I'm
brownies
sure
in the
they-
world because they looked a little like,
Like watery.
like I was looking like.
You know when you be putting too much water in the brownies, they just be coming out looking like a sponge?
I know I've never had a brownie look like those brownies.
I have, and I have not ate it.
Okay, if you
So the
put
next
so much
one was the
water in there.
yucca stick, and this was the girls. So
What is a yucca stick?
It's like potatoes. It's like French fries.
so Simone had to eat
It'd be
8
one
of
thing.
them.
Okay, it'd be one
No.
thing if TJ said
Brittany did.
Brittany had to eat 8 of them.
Oh, I'm sorry,
It'd
Brittany
be
did.
one thing if TJ said yucca stick, and then they had to count out the amount, and they didn't get to see it. But you're looking at it. You're looking at what it is. You know that it's not somebody's dick. You know that it's not an earlobe. You know that's not all these things. You're looking at it. They're scared that they don't know what it is. Look at it. It looks
Shit,
like
I'd be
French
scared.
fries.
Sure.
Look at it. Like, you know the first one was brownies.
Well, and then the thing with Brittany, every food that came out, she's like, "Oh my god, it's dipped in like shit or diarrhea. Like, who knows what they did to it?
I
There's
mean,
bugs in
I
feel it,
I feel it
though,
too because you
like-
never know what
She's like
MTV.
Scorpion
but
Bowl. Scorpion Bowl.
Like, I mean, I can imagine, like, if they really had to eat, like, some cow balls or something.
My question is, how are they possibly going to repeat this competition?
with different stuff.
Yeah, with different stuff. But
I
is it
pick-
going to be?
I would
gross
be
stuff?
scared to death to
No,
get that
I think it'll be a mix of
challenge.
everything. I think it's like different types of foods. Honestly, I really thought they were gonna have like hamburgers or something under
Oh,
there,
or something.
and they
I
were gonna
would-
have to scoff down a bunch of
I would be
hamburgers. I don't know
praying
why I'm
for this
using
eating
scoff.
competition. I would have prayed.
I mean,
for
look,
this.
they've never had this ever in a dome.
It's
Never.
kind of
I would
funny.
never have prayed for this because it was cute brownies this time, but
But no, that's what I'm saying. I would not want to
No,
get that one
I'm
because
saying
I
for
would be
this-
like, this isn't a fair chance for me to really prove myself. This is a guessing game. I'm done.
I would have been the first number I threw out would have been I would have been like 15. You know, they're like 2.
with the brownies I would have thrown that up. But then when you get to the yucca stick, I would be like 7.
Right.
Yeah, but you would have
Seven,
tapped
maybe.
out at 8. Like, if I don't know, and
I mean, yeah, because I mean,
they
look at
couldn't
it.
even do it.
Brittany couldn't do 13, so that was
I
smart
gotta
on
ask
their
her
end.
about that. Come
Yeah.
on, man, really? What happened?
We have a chat roll question.
We have 2. One is from Justin. Would you guys rather have seen both teams compete to eat the most food? And the second question is, do you guys think any Rockies will actually make it to the end?
Any rookies?
Rookies.
Rookies, excuse me.
No, that's okay. Both teams compete. Yeah, sure, why not?
No, I like the game the way it is. I think that's fun. That the other person doesn't even know what they're getting. They have to be sat down at
Yeah.
a table. It's just like,
Yeah, but if it's just based on who can do more, then I feel like there would have been urgency to it a little bit because there was no urgency. You know, you only have to get 7. You're going to pace that out.
I don't know. The guessing game is more.
see, I thought this was
Nerve-wracking.
great because if you know you have
Yeah.
to eat all this food, you're like, okay, we just have to get in as many as we can. Just go. But then with this, it's like, they felt too comfortable. Like I didn't
just
understand
sitting there
like,
just like-
the patacone thing. Like John was sitting up there like,
They're so dry. Well, didn't
I'm
drink
like,
your
bitch,
milk.
you're not at Starbucks. Like, why are
Yeah.
you eating like that?
That's what I'm saying. Like, at least if he was scarfing them and
Like, I
then it
would've
didn't work. I know. And it's easy for us to talk, but like, what? Wait, the second question.
And then they give him milk to wash it down. Like, that's so fucked up.
I know. The second question is, do we think any rookies will actually make it to the end? Would you guys say that Johnny and Avery count as rookies, even though Johnny was there before, because Avery didn't? Because I think they probably have the
Avery's
best
a
chance.
rookie.
I don't see any rookies making it.
Yeah.
Maybe John and Avery if they somehow get under the radar, but I just feel like the key vets are coming hard.
And we see later that Brittany and Adam are going to have some like social issues with each other. So I think once that happens, they're going to have a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have a chat roll question.
Yes. What do you think are the alliances and how the house is divided?
The secret alliances we were just talking about, I'm assuming. I think that it's clear. I think Sarah and Wes somehow made an alliance with Jordan, Teresa, whatever, the foursome. I don't know who. I mean,
I'm real excited right there. Huh?
I get so excited. I coughed everywhere. I don't know who Johnny Bananas made an alliance with, but he's too smart to not. So, like.
Yeah, I'm not sure like how people were divided. All I know is drama divides a lot of people. So if you had drama with somebody, they was on the other side of the other person. I'm sorry, I'm getting tired here.
I don't even know what you just
Well,
said.
within that, Adam and Brittany win, and they get to stay. Simone and John have to go home. And,
Yes.
I mean, at the end of it, I just look like, John, you gave up. You didn't deserve to be
He
there.
was just like, exactly.
You
Sorry,
didn't.
Simone, come back with a better
Someone
partner
says you have-
or by yourself, girl, because I know you go hard.
Someone said you have 30 seconds left, and you only have a couple left. Like, you shove them in your mouth. Whether you're going
And
to
you
win
puke.
or not.
And you
Yeah,
puke.
exactly.
Whatever.
Because why? You going to look like a bitch on TV?
I
Like-
just almost vomited on our after show, and I'm okay with it.
On that note, let's head into predictions.
There you go.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Are you the new soundbite?
Now, your AFTERBUZZ TV.
So,
What the hell?
next week, we get the Britt and Adam kiss.
I mean, we got a little bit of it tonight, but now next week we're seeing them like 69ing standing up. I mean, what?
I mean,
This is the storyline. I mean, because even they
what
set
is
it
that
up.
we do?
Janay set it up earlier in the episode where she says, I kind of feel like you and Adam like each other. I'm looking at Janay like, bitch, why are you talking about anybody liking anybody?
Wait, that was so weird. She said that, and Jenna was in the room. It was so awkward. She was like, "Would you be mad if somebody hooked up with one of your exes?"
I thought she was shading her
I
at
didn't
first.
even get that. Oh my god.
I'm spraying.
It was really awkward.
Well, because Jenna was just like,
I mean,
and Jenna was like, I would.
She's like, I hate all my exes. I'm like, well, bitch, get off mine.
And then we watched Jenna hooking up with Zach in previews, and so I don't understand. This Jay John A thing is not a good look because they're like just obviously hooking up because they're pissed.
Yeah.
Like it's so awkward.
Right.
It's so awkward, and they're both like very. I don't know.
Yeah.
Should be
Although-
interesting.
I will say that when we did meet Jay this week, he said that we all have some very mean things to say about him, which is true. We have had.
was-
some
I mean,
mean
I
things.
said it
He
to
was
his face.
he was holding off for a very long time to come talk to AFTERBUZZ. 'cause he
Yeah.
felt
But then
some shit.
I gave him good positive feedback. And we cool, Jay. We cool.
I don't know if he would say that.
Cool.
But you know,
I mean, at the end, I tried to put in some positive vibes, but
What
I
I
still
will-
kept it
came at him
100.
too hard.
what
I sure the
will
fuck
say,
did. I have issues with motherfuckers who really try to play
What
the game.
I will say is though,
Okay.
I respect the fact that at least he's not getting in Jenna's way of hooking with Zach. Like, can you imagine if he tried to size up to Zach this
That
season?
would've
Was
been
like
a problem,
right.
yeah.
So like, at least he's doing his own thing, even if it's kind of like sketchy with John A. Whatever. At least he's getting out of the way.
Okay.
We have, let's take one last chat roll prediction.
It's from Joseph. He thinks that Adam and Brittany will win the next challenge, and the house will be scared shitless.
Because they've won 2. If they win 3, yeah, the house will be scared shitless.
And they'll have a target and they'll
I
be
definitely
kicked
feel
out
like
by
they
the
have a
next
good.
episode.
Yeah, I feel like they have a good chance though to get far, but we'll see.
Well, they've done
If
one.
they keep on throwing them into the dome, probably not. But
I'll give them 2 more episodes.
2 more.
Yep.
Okay.
And then-
well,
oh,
and then the Nani crying about Bananas situation, just crying on the bed, crying on the
the
bed.
reason why I just can't get into it, which I guess they'll find out later, it's just like they're not together. They're never gonna be together. They're not gonna hook up. So I don't care.
It's
He has a
just-
girlfriend.
It's weird to watch because all these other couples, we've seen them on TV, so whether we're rooting for them or rooting against them, but we never saw Johnny and Nani together ever. So it's like, huh?
Yeah.
And I know nobody else seemed surprised by it, but I didn't even know they were ever seeing each other. So when I saw this, like for me to take it seriously, I'm like, huh?
Huh?
Huh? What'd you say?
Well, On that note, we want to thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit us up at AfterBuzz TV on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, make sure you guys check out AfterBuzzTV.com tomorrow for our exclusive interviews with the cast of The Challenge. You guys can tweet me at DJ Jesse J.
At Since They Don't Play.
At Roxy Striar.
Until next week, same time, same place. Peace.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.